Welcome to the Ross Garden Tours 2018 Tours Program launch. We've got lots of new tours happening for 2018, as well, of course, all our regular popular tours. But you need to get in early. They tend to fill very quickly. In fact, even at this stage, some of them already half full. But this is what it's all about today. A very exciting time in at the Royal Botanic Gardens, this magnificent old heritage home. What a great venue. The crystal is out, the cups and saucers are out, the cupcakes are ready, and the tea and coffee is being poured. It's going to be a great day. Welcome to the 2018 Ross Garden Tours tour program launch. It's my job to just to welcome you firstly on behalf of our staff and the Ross family. When I was out cutting these roses this morning, Sandra was inside making millions and millions of cucumber sandwiches. And she was. 1:30 she woke up and then thought, I've got to get these finished. So please don't leave any. 5 hours stint. Yes, nice. But I guess that is indicative of what this company does. The garden tour company, Ross Garden Tours, is owned by the horticultural directors that are standing in front of you and that are working here today. They participate in every single tour in its creation from the very beginning, which might take 3, 4 or 5 years from an idea to actually people leaving on that tour. And very often it'll be the directors that'll escort you on the tour, or one of our amazing family of tour leaders, and many of you have met them, people like Libby Cameron and Michael McCoy and so many wonderful others, Colin Barlow. It's an amazing team of people that are really very much part of our family. But I have to say, so many of you here today are also part of our family. But I'd like to hand over now to Linda, who has spread a lot of vicious rumours about her father. I've just heard that I'm only good for polishing children's shoes and supergluing broken things back together.
It's so true, so true. Hi everybody. Look, I wanted just to tell you a little bit about my experiences travelling this year, well this year to date. I was lucky enough to go, well, I was here last year at this event where a lot of you were, and I heard Libby Cameron rabbiting on about India. And I had never wanted to go to India in a pink fit. In fact, it was the lowest destination on my must-see list of places to go to. I just thought, India, ugh, hate the food, poverty, I'm just going to feel awful the whole time. But she just had this wonderful little twinkle in her eye about India, and I thought, well, there must be more to it. So I snuck on her tour in February, and I have to say I had the best time of my travelling life. I think it was because I had no expectations. I went with no expectations. I thought I was actually going to not like it. So we stayed in palatial marble-tiled palaces, basically. We started off with yoga every morning. I made all the girls go to yoga every morning. It was such a hoot. We had, yes, there was a little bit of Indian food, but there was a lot of Western food as well. And then everyone had their bottles of gin in their pocket. So every moment we'd have gin and tonics just sneakily at lunch and dinner. And it was one of the most extraordinary experiences of my life. So we've all bonded over India now. The Taj Mahal at sunrise was absolutely magical. And I know that that's a lot of people have that on their bucket list. And it's an up early. The Taj Mahal is kind of one of those buildings, I suppose like the Opera House, where you just fall in love with it the first moment you see it. And because it's opaque, it translates the colours of the sunset and sunrise and reflects it. And that wonderful photo of Princess Diana, remember that? Terrible, all alone at that Princess Diana bench, reflected in the Taj Mahal. So we all sat there and had our photographs taken. The Taj Mahal, because of its white sort of marble, it went pink, blush pink with the sunrise. And this building kind of just draws you in. It's just the most extraordinary building. Anyway, we all absolutely love that. We went on a tiger safari. We saw all these amazing tigers in the wild. So it wasn't just gardens, it was culture, it was food, it was architecture, and of course Jaipur is the pink city. And then we had this extraordinary experience, and this is probably just to sort of make an example. Our garden tour is all for the blokes who hate gardens. It's not just gardens, is it? We meet people. We had lunch in a mango tree forest, and we were all sitting on our little boxes eating our little picnic and surrounded by hundreds of Indian kids. And they couldn't speak any English, and there was no way I could speak any Indian. So what we did was, they sang their national anthem and we sang our national anthem in this extraordinary sort of patriotic kind of way in the middle of nowhere. And it just goes to show, you know, people are people, doesn't matter where we are. Just that bond, that sort of, that exchange of energy between us was unbelievable. And there Libby and I were in the middle of a mango tree forest singing Advance Australia Now, so stupid and yet so fun. And then we played a little game of cricket with them. And we were getting smashed at the time in India. Anyway, so that was really fun. So that's how the year started for me. And then just last week or two, I came back from Japan to do the recce for this super awesome Japanese tour, which will be the first of its kind next year. And we always thought after Cherry Blossom, who's been on the Cherry Blossom tour with us? It's amazing, isn't it? It's like a different planet. You arrive and it's a different planet. It's not a different country, it's a different planet, and it's bathed in these beautiful petals that, when the wind whips around, the petals are everywhere, and you get dressed and then you're getting petals under your knickers and all sorts of things in your hair, and it's the most lovely experience. But a month after cherry blossom time, that's when spring really hits. So it just reminds me, this wisteria here. In the May tour, we'll see a wisteria 1.5 kilometres long. It's a tunnel that we walk through and around, and it's all dripping in the most amazing, and you know how wisteria is not only purple, it's pale pink and lilac and white and blush. Well, these are sort of hundreds and hundreds of different wisteria all growing together in a huge, like this, arbour that you just walk through. So that's one of the sites that I really can't wait to see. And the other one is in a little place called Matsui. And this is the peony growing region of Japan. Oh, peonies are like the best flower ever. In the city, there's an island. On the island, there's a lake, there's an island, there's a lake on an island, if you get what I mean. And on the island, in that, there is a little lake, probably about the size of this whole garden, that they float 100,000 peonies on. Can you imagine? Just this ginormous pink lake of floating peonies. And it's like the ephemeral nature of the cherry blossoms, it's just a 4-day event. So just for 4 days, this lake is covered in giant, blousy peony flowers. So that's the other one. And then the third spectacular thing that we're seeing is azaleas. So this tour is timed perfectly for wisteria, peonies and azalea. And one of the azalea gardens is a Buddhist temple with 17,000 balls of azaleas. 17. So you just walk through this valley and the only thing you see is balls of azaleas as far as the eye can see, and this giant Buddha at the end. Anyway, it's incredible. It's of course, the Japanese people are so respectful and so sensitive and cultural, and I feel so intelligent, and the food is extremely beautiful. So that was my experience, and I cannot wait to go to Mexico because, of course, Mexico, well, home of the taco and tequila, but not only, home of frangipanis, and you know how much I love frangipanis. In fact, and more orchids are home in Mexico than any other place on the planet. So really it is the orchid capital of the world. So I'm really looking forward to that too. So we have lots of great new destinations that we have thoroughly researched, and a lot of old ones too, as Dad said, you know, the tried and true Chelsea Flower Show, what we do every year. Singapore we're doing again next year to see the garden festival in Singapore. Who's come with me to Singapore? A lot of you girls, haven't you? Lots of fun as Singapore slings, and lots of awesome experiences in Singapore. It's a great little 7-day trip actually, Singapore. Get out of Sydney in the winter time. That's the best thing. But it's a tropical wonderland. In fact, the Singapore Garden Festival is bigger than Chelsea Flower Show, and it's kind of like the tropical Chelsea Flower Show of the tropics. So it's definitely to put on your bucket list as well. But yeah, that's what I'm doing and that's what I'm seeing. But I might pass it on to Mum, because she's planned a brand new tour for next year as well.
Yes, it's got my nose running.
Hay fever.
There's some lovely new itineraries, and the one that I've been researching and taking for the first time is a new one of England, the Rose Gardens of England. England has got some fantastic incredible gardens. I mean, you could spend the whole year there, couldn't you, and see millions of gardens every day and still not see them all. So that was such a tricky job trying to work out where this tour would go. But this one starts, visiting a couple of cities that you probably wouldn't normally put on a garden itinerary, but we're actually flying into Newcastle. Well, we're starting in Newcastle. And we're travelling all the way up almost to the Scottish border to see a garden called Alnwick. Now, I'm not going to run through all the gardens in this itinerary, but Alnwick is pretty special. It's the home of the Hogwarts, isn't that right? Home of the Hogwarts. So we're all going to learn how to ride a broomstick. Yeah, Graham did when he was there. He was filming there, Harry Potter. But we also, there's the most fantastic brand new garden gone in there. What's her name, lady?
Her Grace.
Her Grace, I beg your pardon. Jane has just spent so much money. The Duchess of Northumberland, that's right. So they have lived, their family has lived there for generations, right back to
700 years.
Yeah, incredible. So that's where we start. And then we travel down, so we have a couple of nights in Newcastle, then basing ourselves in Birmingham. We say, why are you staying in Birmingham? Well, it's right in the centre of things. So we're staying there 3 or 4 nights, and we're going out each day to see, well, David Austin, for example. David Austin roses, where David Austin developed his beautiful roses. He's got an absolute showcase. He does live there, and his son. So the roses were spectacular. The whole gardens were spectacular. I mean, it's a really lovely time. This is the end of June. Beautiful time to be in England. The weather is so much warmer than it is earlier and drier. So it's beautiful. So if you're thinking you might like to see the gardens of England in summer or June, early summer, have a look at that brochure. It's out there, the Rose Gardens of England, and I'm really excited about that. But I'm set to go to Italy. Is anyone coming to Italy with me next week?
I wish I was.
Some of you came last time I went. I know, I've been speaking to you. So I'm heading off to Italy. Can't wait. Lovely, lovely itineraries. Very gentle, very relaxed. We all have so much in common. We all sit around and probably drink a few gin and tonics and chat about what we're going to do the next day, work out where we're going to eat. You'll say, oh, I'm not eating with you, I'm too tired, I'm having room service. That's fine, you go. Whatever. They're very lovely, gentle, relaxed tours. And for those of you who are just here just to sort of see what we do, maybe you might like to have a little look at the Rose Gardens of England with me. I'd love you to come with me. Does anybody have any questions about our program of tours? Yes, darling. Yes. This lady's asking about the Monero. A brand new tour of the Monero.
What is that?
The Monero is the high country. Gardens of the Monero. They call it Monero. I thought it was Monaro, but it's not Monaro, it's Monero.
Monaro was the car.
I know. So this is
Gardens in a Monaro.
This is an autumn tour. So it's
Everyone gets them
23rd to the 28th of April. It's just a week. Another brand new tour. So I did the recce last autumn, checked it all out. These are beautiful gardens. These are homesteads. These are beautiful pastoral properties that are opening their gates for us. So I really, and the owners are going to give us morning tea and lunch, and oh my gosh, we're really going to have a lovely time. So I was born in Cooma, and I went right back to Cooma and I checked out, and we're going to an amazing garden in Cooma. So lots to share on that itinerary. So Gardens of Manala.
We're going to hang around to answer your questions. And fresh tea in there. Thank you, girls. You've done a great job. You've got the best stuff. Thank you very much. Have a great day.